Sometime back, we prepared a tutorial that showed you how you could burn a DVD of your Edius project. And even if you're working on a high definition project, what you needed to do in order to prepare your files in order to burn a DVD right from Edius itself. And that works fine if you're just needing to make a quick down and dirty DVD for your contacts while you're out in the field with your laptop, perhaps, or you need to send something quick to family and friends, grandma. But if you are preparing a DVD for mass distribution, you're sending it off to get a glass master made, and you're going to do a run of 10,000 DVDs of your project, you really need to learn how to prepare high-quality MPEG files for DVD authoring, and perhaps spend a little bit more money and purchase some third-party software programs to help you prepare your DVDs. And so in this tutorial, we're going to show you 3 methods of how you can prepare high-quality MPEG files for DVD authoring. And the first one that we'll show you actually just uses Edius itself. If you don't have anything else installed on your computer and you need to get out some high-quality MPEG files, well, there is a way that you can produce some pretty good quality MPEG files directly from the timeline of your Edius project, even if you're working with a high-definition project. But then we'd like to also show you how you can prepare files to work with additional software. Perhaps you have Procoder 3 installed on your computer. It's a product that is distributed by Grass Valley and works in conjunction with Edius to prepare good high-quality MPEG files for DVD authoring. A third method that we'd like to show you is using a third-party product called Video Mastering Works 5, created by Pegasys. And this really, of the 3 methods that we will show you, is going to give you the best results. And it really doesn't cost that much. I forget how much I actually paid for it, but it was not more than a couple of $100, maybe even $120 for this Video Mastering Works 5. And it really does produce the best results. And I have to give credit where credit is due for some of the things that we're going to share with you in this tutorial. There is an Edius user in Australia by the name of Anton that has spent a lot of time testing various methods of preparing high-quality MPEG files for DVD authoring, and he has shared his results with the rest of us, both on Grass Valley Edius forum group as well as his own website. He has prepared a number of tutorials that relate with a lot of aspects, actually, of working with Edius, but in particular, how to prepare good high-quality MPEG files for DVD authoring. And I have the contact information on the resources section of ediustips.com, and so if you want a link to his website, you can find it there. But we'll be referring to some of his findings as we go through this tutorial, and I really appreciate the information that he has shared with the rest of us in how to prepare these good quality MPEG files. Now, no matter what way that you do decide to prepare your MPEG files, you're going to need to export from your timeline. And so once you have your project open, what you want to do first of all is set an in and an out point that delineates your project. And what I like to do is start about 3 seconds before the video program actually starts. So you give yourself about 3 seconds of black before the video starts. And then also at the other end to finish off with about 3 seconds of black, so that you have a little bit of a handle on both ends. And so once you have your in and outs defined of your project, go ahead and go to your export tool. You can find that either underneath your video preview monitor, export, or choose your F11 key. And this brings up your export tool. And for this first method that we are going to discuss, what you want to choose is the MPEG option. And You'll also want to make sure that you have this box checked here, export between in and out. And with the release of version 6.03, Edius has fixed this so that once you check this once, the next time you go to use the export tool, Edius will remember your preference there and present you with the last choice that you made. And so check it once, and from then on, Edius will remember your preference on that. So that's a good thing. And what we want to choose here from all of the options that Edius presents you, let's just go ahead and choose this MPEG-2 elementary stream, and this will give us separate audio and video files of our project. Let's go ahead and hit export, and this will bring up a dialog box where we will be able to select some settings that will give us the best possible results from within Edius. First thing you want to do is go ahead and tell Edius where you want to save your video and audio MPEG files. So go ahead and select a destination on one of your hard drives. And then under basic settings, let's go to under size. You'll notice that you're given several options here. We don't want current setting, especially if you are exporting from a high definition project and you're going to a standard definition DVD. You're going to want to go ahead and choose something like 720 by 480 if you're working with an NTSC project. And then under quality speed, let's drop down our options there and choose Superfine. And we'll go with CBR. Anton recommends that, this is better than using VBR, that especially in the dissolves, you'll notice that it's a little bit smoother. And then we need to choose an average bit rate. And if we use our drop-down menu here, we see that Edius gives you the option of, I guess that's million, 2 million, 4 million, 6 million, 8 million, 10 million, 15 million bits per second. I'm guessing that's what that stands for. Usually when you're working for encoding MPEG projects, you're working more with kilobytes per second. This looks more like bits or bytes per second, and that's why we've got these high numbers here. For DVD, for standard definition DVD files, we'd want to target somewhere near around the 8 million in this case. And yet, that's probably a little bit high. Anton recommends that you go with the 7700 kilobits per second, but because we're using just bytes per second, we need to add some more zeros, another 3 zeros here. And over here under audio settings, let's go with the Dolby Digital AC3, and 2 channels is fine. The bit rate of 256 is fine. Let's go to extended settings, and here again you need to be careful if you are working with a high definition project, especially if it's a progressive preset and you're working with progressive video. You want to change this. You don't want to use the current settings. Your field order to be DVD compliant, it needs to be an interlaced file, and we want to choose upper field. And Anton is recommending that we use this setting here, and the GOP structure is fine as is. For picture count, if you're working with NTSC, you want 18. If PAL, then leave it at the 15. And we want to close the GOP. And with those settings in place, you can go ahead and hit OK. And as far as I know, this is the way to produce the best quality MPEG file for standard definition DVD authoring that I know of working with your Edius timeline. And so again, if you're out in the field and you don't have Procoder with you, or you forgot your dongle and you can't use the Procoder that you have installed on your laptop, and you're stuck with just working with Edius, this is going to give you the best quality MPEG export that I know of. And when Edius has finished its export, it will go ahead and bring your files into the bottom of the bin that's open. If you want, you can go ahead and take a look at these. You'll notice with choosing this elementary stream process, you are given separate files, so you can bring them both in. I think Edius, if you just grab both of them, they're going to place one after the other. So let's just collapse our timeline here a little bit and notice that the audio file ended up over there. If we deselect, we can bring that and match it up. And that way you can take a quick look at it and make sure it came through okay. And looking on our little monitor here, it looks pretty decent. So then once you have your file, you can open up a third-party program like Encore. Start a new project. And then with Encore open, just go to File and choose Import As, select Asset, and navigate to the folder on your hard drive where the files were sent, and select both of those files, the audio and the video, open, and Encore will bring those in, and it'll take a minute or two to fully import into Encore. It's not re-encoding the video, but I think it does do a little something with the audio. And then once both of the files are in, select both of them with your mouse, holding down your Shift key. Do a right click on that, and from the drop-down menu, choose New and then Timeline. And Encore will create a timeline of that and automatically set your timeline as the first play. And so if all you are doing is creating a DVD that has an auto start so that when you plug in your DVD, it starts automatically playing your program, then you're all set. You just need to go to File, do a save. If you want to, you can preview your project first before making your DVD master. And as we look at this, we can see that it looks pretty decent. Edius has done a pretty good job of making a fairly good quality MPEG file. Of course, the real test is to bring that DVD, that finished, once it's burned, bring it into a good quality monitor and take a look at it there. But for most purposes, I think that you could be pretty happy with the export that Edius has given us. So once you've tested it or taken a look at it, preview, you can go to Build and choose disk if you're burning your own DVD, or if you're creating a disk image, choose disk image, and you'll be all set. One of these days we'll prepare a tutorial on how to make a more complicated DVD, how to author a DVD in Encore using maybe 5 or 6 programs and motion menus and maybe several layers of menus. And so watch out for that. Hopefully we'll be able to prepare that fairly soon. I'm just about to head out the door for a shoot in Africa, so it may not be for a few weeks, but we hope to eventually prepare a tutorial on authoring DVDs using Encore. Okay, so let's go back and take a look at how we can use Procoder and this Mastering Works 5. Again, what you're going to need to do is export as your first step. And so making sure that your in and outs are set properly, once again go to your export using the F11 key. And this time what we want to choose is an AVI file. And if you've got lots of room on your hard drive and you want to work with the absolute best quality file that you can, you want to choose Canopus Lossless as your selection. However, most people would never really notice the difference between your choice of Canopus Lossless at this stage and Canopus HQ, especially if you choose the HQ Fine as your final choice. But if you want to just sleep well at night and know that you've chosen the best possible output from Edius, go ahead and select Lossless. And then you can just go ahead and select the Canopus Lossless AVI exporter and go to Export. Give your file a name. Hit Save, and Edius will go ahead and output the best possible high definition, if you're working with a high definition project, file possible using their own proprietary codec, but in a lossless format. And once your file has finished exporting, you can go ahead and either close or minimize Edius and open up Procoder. And once Procoder is open, what you want to do is add the file. So you just click Add and navigate to that place on the hard drive where you saved that file. And in this case, it's an AVI file that contains both the video and the audio, so it's just one file. The additional file that you're seeing there is just the waveform that Edius created. And once it comes into Procoder 3, let's go to Target and choose a preset. Procoder will give you a list of presets here, and one of them will give you options for creating a DVD. Go ahead and open that, and then select DVD, and then you are given a list of presets that Procoder has come up with, and I like to go with the mastering quality, and if it's an NTSC project that I'm working on, I'll choose that. At least to start with. I may make a few changes to the settings that come in, the preset settings that Procoder has set up. Something that we'll want to change first of all, because it is a 16:9 aspect ratio, we'll want to change that to 16:9. By default, it gives you the variable bit rate option, and this is what I have always used when using Procoder 3, and I have always gotten fairly excellent results with this. I have noticed that when I use Procoder to take this high-definition file and make a standard definition MPEG for DVD use, that the resulting DVD can show some resizing artifacts, especially at the angles and lines of, say, a building, for example. If you're looking at the angled peak of a house, for example, you may notice some artifacting edges going on as video moves through that type of scene. But other than that, Procoder does a really decent job. Now we do go ahead and change a few settings here. By default, it gives a maximum bit rate of 8,000, and I'm okay with that being your maximum, but I like to have the average video bit rate higher, especially if I've got lots of room on my DVD. If I'm trying to really put a lot of information on one DVD, you might go with a little bit lower bit rate here in order to get more material on one single layered DVD. But I like to err on the side of highest quality possible rather than the amount of content I can squeeze onto one DVD. So I will change this to like something like 75 or even 7700 kilobits per second. And then down here, I never like to have my minimum bit rate down to 0. I've noticed that when I have left this set at 0, that sometimes you can see some real blockiness going on, especially when the video has gone to black. And so if your video project fades down to black, or starts from black and ends at black, and Procoder sees that, oh, he has a minimum bit rate there of 0. Well, all we've got going on here is black. Let's go right down on the bit rate to save some room on the DVD. Well, we never want that. We never want blocky video, even if it's just black. And so I will change my minimum bit rate to something like 6,000. So with those changes in place, you can go ahead and tell Procoder where you want to save this. Up here, give it a base name and a destination file name, and go ahead and hit convert. And convert again, and Procoder will go ahead and start encoding your project to a high-quality MPEG format. Okay, but let's go ahead and stop that for now and take a look at this other program. This program from Pegasys, entitled Mastering Works 5. This company has been around a long time. I remember using their software, oh, probably even back 1999. I think they had some encoding software out there, and I believe it was even free at the time. And so they have really been around a long time and have really continued to upgrade their product, and now it costs you a little money, but not that much, and really does produce high quality results. You remember I was talking about those downsizing artifacts that might be noticeable in certain portions of your video that might be showing vertical or diagonal lines. Well, those downsizing artifacts almost disappear using this product here. It really does produce the best results that we've been able to find. And again, I have to credit Anton from Australia. He has been promoting this product here for a number of years. And I have to say that I'm kind of a new convert to Pegasys. I did try this back when it was version 4. I bought it and tried Anton's settings, and I wasn't quite happy with what I was getting. The video was kind of a little soft for my taste. And I'm not sure if it's because Anton is working primarily with PAL video, and his settings weren't working quite well with my NTSC video that I usually use, and or if they've just made that much improvement with Mastering Works 5, I'm not sure. But with the release of Mastering Works 5, I have become a convert, and I now encode all of my MPEG video for DVD authoring using this. So I highly recommend it. Go ahead and get it. It doesn't cost that much money. In fact, this company has now released a plugin that you can purchase, I think, for an extra $80 or so, that allows you to encode MPEG files right from the timeline of Edius. And I have not yet purchased that or tried that or used it, so I'm not sure. I can't testify to how that works, but it is encouraging to see that they have released a plugin actually for Edius where you can export right from your timeline to their high-quality settings. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up. We won't go through all of the settings here because we'll throw up a website address where you can take a look at the settings that Anton suggests for this. He's the one that has done all of the testing on this. But we'll just note a few things here. Go ahead and select New from Files and navigate to that place on your hard drive where you saved that Canopus lossless file. And Pegasys will open up a little box here, and here's where you want to kind of review the settings that they give you. You want it to say interlace. You want top or upper field first. You want the aspect ratio to reflect your project, and your frame rate, if it's NTSC, to be 29.97. So making sure that all of those settings are correct, you're good to go ahead and hit OK. I believe that Anton says that if you're working with PAL video, that you might have to watch out here, that Pegasys doesn't always interpret the PAL Canopus lossless file correctly, and that sometimes it may show up here as being progressive. And of course, you can't use a progressive file in a DVD project. It's just not DVD compliant. You need to have this set to interlace. Okay, so go ahead and once you're happy with that, hit OK. And then the next major step that you need to do is go to Filters. And from your menu here on the left-hand side, you want to choose Picture Resize. What you want to do here is uncheck the Keep Aspect Ratio. And everything else that you're given by default in these settings are fine. You just need to make sure that this is unchecked. So with that unchecked, go ahead and hit OK, and then choose Format. And like I say, we won't get into all of these settings that you can find there at Anton's site, but I'll go ahead and choose Browse, where I have saved the settings that I have made based on Anton's recommendations. And now, with all of these settings already in place, ready to go, I can just hit Encode and Export. And Pegasys will go ahead and export a beautiful MPEG file ready for DVD authoring. And then again, once you have these files saved from your encoding process, whether it's from Pegasys or from Procoder 3, then your next step is to, again, go into your third-party DVD authoring program like Encore and create your DVD using the files that have been encoded by one of these three processes. Okay, well, I think that does it for preparing files for DVD authoring from your Edius project.